Well, hello, this is Tom Breaker again, and I'm documenting some stone buildings today. There's some stone buildings looking at today. They're at the grounds of the Fort Scott National Historic Site in Fort Scott, Kansas. There's a couple structures in what was actually three structures in what was the quartermaster's complex that are still existing, and we're going to look at a couple of them. A couple of them are stone buildings. One's got a stone foundation. But the one we're going to look at today, right now, is this building. They don't really know what it was used for. They've got a little plaque here that you can see. As you look at the diagram here, the quartermaster storehouse is this big building we're looking at. I'm standing at right here. And then they've got what they call the stone building. Then they got the bakehouse, which is the bakery. These were original buildings from the quartermaster's area. And this is the stone building. I walked around a little bit, and there's some interesting aspects to it. As I say, they don't really know what it was used for. When I talked to a couple of the rangers weren't even sure what was in there. They said they've never even been in this building yet because it's not open for the public, but the public can look at it. And one of the things that I see is, again, it's nicely symmetrical. The window is well balanced, and over the main windows there's really what I call huge wooden lentils. Well, you tell you this lentil right here, if you look at, they're both bowed just a little bit, it looks like, and this one's bowed just a little bit there, from the weight from over the years. But the lentils are there. The stone is what I think they call ashlar. It's up here in the top, particularly, is real nicely worked rock. It's nice and square and lays in a lot like block or brick would lay in. So that looks really nice. There's some interesting rocks in here. One I think is, it's a little bit different color. And it's just a really long rock. This one right here. It's a little yellowish. But the rest of this looks like field limestone. This might be, it may be of a different type of limestone or maybe a little sandstone. It's laid in, they got a couple pieces of that in here. You've got another piece over here on this corner. And it looks as though they've maybe come back in and done some work in the with a mortar. Probably repointed it just a little bit. And here's a kind of a close-up of this lentil over this window. Today, I think if we did something like that, we might use a railroad tie. I don't know just how thick this is, but it looks like it's about 8 inches high, and it goes all the way back in there, so I don't know if that's maybe 8 by 8. But these rocks are laid in really nice and square. You can tell it looks like they've been squared off really nicely and worked, just to get the angles on them. Now, this side of the building looks really nice and clean and smooth if you look at it. But then you look at the north side of the building. This is where the north wind comes and pelts it and things like this. This side of the building looks a lot older, looks a lot rougher. Back up here and you can kind of see how it doesn't have the same smooth surfaces to it. One interesting feature about this is they must have found some big rock. You see right up in here, there's just a row of great big rocks. They laid them vertically as opposed to lay them with the bed, as they call it. When they lay them with a bed, that means that instead of laying it vertically like this, they lay it horizontally, kind of like they would have been found probably in the earth when they picked them up. But you can see here where some of this is worn out here and kind of got caved in, and some of the rocks are out here. You see this one up here. It just kind of, all this whole way up here, just kind of has been really worn. Until I started looking at this, I hadn't really even noticed that. How badly worn this side of the building is. So this is probably, again, they've come in and done some repointing or tuck pointing here because the mortar is really nice in there. And you can kind of tell where that new mortar's been put in. You see you've got this little crack there, and then you've got some other back in there. So this has been kind of put in front of it to preserve the mortar that was there. And then again over the doorway here, there's a wooden lintel, and you've got a little stair, a little rock down, no, little rock. Got a rock down there for the step. And it, you know, they've got a nice door on it. They've kept it painted well. Again, here it's amazing just how rough this side of the building is. But then you come around to this side of the building. This would be sort of the side furthest from where the visitors are going to see. They've got a really big door here. They thought maybe that this was a blacksmith shop. And that's possible with the big doors there. Be able to get a wagon or parts of a wagon in there or something if you had a ram. This side of the building's a little bit better as far as weathering goes. Down low, you can see here, kind of below what would be the floor line here. It's weathered a little bit, but again, you've got these really big rocks right through here. You got one, and then this little V-shaped rock here, and another one. Seems like they kind of wedge out that way. I don't think that the sorry about the finger there. I don't think that the shape of the rock is really significant here. I think they just had some big rocks that were going to work, and they thought, well, let's put them in here, because you've got a small rock with a V between those, just to kind of fill up that space. But it's kind of interesting that, you know, they used the rocks that they had available. As you go up the wall, go right in through here, and it still kind of looks rough, but then you get up to about where, I presume that might be a second floor, because you've got this window up here. So that might be about where the second floor starts. That rock is really nice again. They've got it all squared up, and it lays in, like I said, like brick or like block, and it fits in really well. Then you got the back of the building, which again is just, it's pretty smooth, doesn't look like it's too weathered. Right up here in the corner, as you see, there's another little block of that yellow rock. Not sure exactly where that would have come from. That little chimney up there. And then when the ladies at the office said they didn't really know what was in here, there's a window right here, so I kind of peeked. And with my flashlight, I could tell that it looks like the park keeps some of their scaffolding in there. Sometimes they paint, and they work on the different buildings that they have here. This is the quartermaster's storehouse, and they've got some barracks over there and a barracks building here. When they paint on those, they use scaffolding on the outside, and it looked like they had some scaffolding in there from what I could see through the window. So this is what they call the Rock Building at the Fort Scott National Historic Site. So this is an original building, so that means this building would have been built sometime between 1842 and 1850, because those are the years that the fort was here till about 1852, but I figure this probably would have been built before they closed the fort down. Anyway, so this is the Rock Building at the Fort Scott National Historic Site. If you get some time, you might want to come by and take a look at it, and if not, it's just another rock building that's there and has lasted the test of time. So this is Tom Breaker. Talk to you again.